Hello there folks, it is TIJ Gaming and welcome back to the F1 2012 career mode with Williams, and today we go to the European Grand Prix. It's been held at several venues over the years. In Germany, the Nürburgring. I think it was held in Donington once because there was a quiz question about this. That where's the British Grand Prix being held? It's actually Aintree and Silverstone and Brands Hatch obviously. But the person thought Donington, but I think it was the European Grand Prix that year. So it's been held at a range of circuits, and in 2012, I think this was one of the last. It might be the last time it was held at Valencia in 2012. It's an interesting circuit, not one that at the time I wasn't too keen on, but one that looking back now, it was actually a little bit underrated in my opinion. But before you watch this video, I would recommend massively you go and watch the last Grand Prix at Canada, which is available on the channel and in, of course, the playlist for this series. But if you watched it, you all remember it was a crazy race. We qualified at the back, managed to get up into the points. We had a crash with Hulkenberg, and it all stemmed from there. But I'm not going to reveal any more, apart from the fact from you guys that did watch it will know we didn't get any points. So we want to reverse that today. Of course, you'll also remember that somehow Sergio Perez managed to win that race. That's just crazy and bonkers in my opinion. And we want to try and get a little bit higher in the constructors. And to be honest, we're already 30 points behind Lotus, who have got, I think it's fair to say, an unequal balance of who scored the points. Grosjean with 58 and Kimi Raikkonen with 2 at the moment, although he's been incredibly unlucky this season. I think with 2 disqualifications at different points. Ferrari are the same really. Alonso on 78 points, Massa on 18. There's a big gulf between drivers, the same with Perez and Kobayashi at 7. But you will remember, of course, that Perez managed to win the race in Canada. And if we go back perhaps to the start of the season, we can see that Sergio Perez finished second in the Australian Grand Prix. So without any further ado, let's get into the qualifying for the European Grand Prix at Valencia. Fingers crossed we finish a little bit better than we did in the last race. In the qualifying sessions we finished last, but that was because it rained. I don't think we've got any chance of rain here in Valencia, but our objectives are incredibly low. That makes me worry a little bit. Our objective in qualifying is to finish 18th, so that's just above the bottom 6 cars. So we clearly feel we haven't got much pace here, and then our Grand Prix target is 15th place. So it's clear that there's not much expected of us here, but if we do finish higher in qualifying, then I am sure that the race result will be increased in our expectation. But without any further ado, folks, let's get into qualifying and let's see if we can get out of Q1. Well, this is interesting. I thought I'd come back when we were on a lap, but I'm just going to show you here. We've got a 20% chance of rain in this session. So at any point it could rain. Unfortunately, we haven't got a setup for this track, which is a shame. But because I'm a little bit worried about the rain, and because we've been caught out a lot of times so far this season by it, we're going to get out, set a few laps now. Considering I haven't driven this circuit for, it's got to be 3 or 4 years now in a serious Grand Prix. So it's going to be a quick one to try and get used to the circuit, and hopefully we can do that very quickly. So we're just coming to the end of our first lap round the circuit, and although we had a few wides, although it was a little bit slippy at times, although it wasn't the best lap, to be fair, that isn't a bad lap. It certainly wasn't the worst lap in the world. A little bit scrappy at points, I've already said that. And we did come close to hitting the wall at some of the tighter corners, but we went wide a few times. But to be honest, this already feels like a better lap. So I'm going to shut up straight away. Yeah, that's been confirmed by the fact that Kovalainen has beaten us. So either the fact that we're really slow around the circuit as a car, or that we are really in trouble. But we've already improved our first sector by 6/10 of a second, so I'm going to shut up and make sure we get round the lap and increase our time effectively. Well, we are quite a way up on our personal best, but as you can see, our first lap clearly wasn't that good as Kain's beat us, and as I said earlier, we've clearly got a rubbish car around this circuit. Brilliant, fantastic. I mean, that would have been about guessing on that, about a 140.6, but stupidly, we're a little bit too aggressive at that last corner. And that didn't help us out at all. So unfortunately, we've just about got the fuel to do, but now we've got to go and set another lap. Very frustrating. Right, you can ride on board with me for the rest of the lap now, just so for the peace of mind that we don't cut any more corners and be stupid. We're really on the limit with fuel. We've got just about enough to get to the end of the lap, so we're okay. And our lap time is a hell of a lot better than it was previously. But it's not really going to be anywhere near the top. Mark Webber wouldn't have had a bad lap, because I'll tell you what, I don't think he's quite below Kain. I mean, Kain must have had a fantastic qualifying, but again, I don't quite think he is that quick compared to the rest. But how's this lap going to come out? It's a significant improvement on the first, but amazingly, we're still behind Vitaly Petrov. I mean, we are behind him on virtue that his lap must have been quicker by 1,000th of a second or something, because we were on the same time. But we're in the top 10, so it seems peculiar that the likes of Raikkonen, Hulkenberg, even Vettel. Well, it's interesting that some of the quicker runners are on the prime tyre, but we're going to have to come into the pits and just see what our pace is really like, whether the Caterhams are quicker here or whether we genuinely haven't got the pace around this circuit. Well, this is an interesting development. It seems like some of the big teams might have made a mistake, a strategical mistake, by putting their drivers on the primes, because look at this, they're not improving. This could be, wow, this could be a turn up for the books. But I don't even know what they're doing. Obviously the bottom 7, I mean bar De La Rosa, scrap that, but they're all on prime tyres. And obviously apart from the Ferraris that have made it work, these teams haven't made it work. And by virtue, I think here, we're going to get into Q2. I mean, look at that. Vitaly Petrov in 8th. Both Caterhams in the top 10. And all of the top 6 in the second session, apart from Pedro De La Rosa. And it's been a massive cock-up from these teams. But I'm not going to complain. The championship leader, 3rd place in the championship, 4th place, the winner of the last race, they're all out of qualifying. And that is unbelievable. Honestly, I don't want to blow my own trumpet, but we should definitely get into Q3, and there's a serious chance of starting incredibly well here. I have to say, this leaves us in a slightly bizarre predicament now, because do we push it in qualifying? I just genuinely don't know how quick we are, because we've had Caterham by our side. So that makes me think we're not that competitive. But they've all got through to Q2. I mean, anyone who's on the prime tyre should, from the last session, just not be in Formula 1 anymore. But obviously the prime tyre was a hell of a lot slower, and that just didn't work. So I think the tip here is just set a lot of laps and hope that the same mistakes are made, and by virtue we're going to be through to Q3. I can't complain about that whatsoever. Well, I think everyone's picked up on this, haven't they? They've all picked up at... Is that rain? It seems overcast. It seems like it's raining. Bloody Mark Webber, look at him. He's pushing to try and get past Kobayashi. I think everyone wants a piece of this. It's raining here, you know. It's raining. It is raining, folks. I don't think I need to say that again. There was no chance of rain for this session. Now, everybody is skating around like mad to try and get a lap in. This is quite possibly... Q1 was enough to make this as bonkers as it could have been. This qualifying session has no limits. This is crazy. Considering there's no chance of it raining this session either. Well, I said that Valencia was a bit underrated. If it serves up a race here, like it's going to suggest in qualifying, I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, it's been a really scrappy lap, to be honest. We've gone wide a few times, like we did at the start of the first session. So we've given John-Eric Verne the position, and we've got enough of a gap to the drivers behind. The problem is, how quick is this rain going to progress? Because this rain, a minute and a half later, is a hell of a lot heavier than it was a minute and a half ago. So this makes things interesting. The two Ferraris have booked their way into the new qualifying session, into the Q3, but we're going to be nowhere near that time, and a bit of a slip and slide there. But at least we've got a time in, and potentially that could be the last time we set, but it's quite a poor time, as you can see. It's very much off. So we're just going to have to try now and get a lap timer, but it seems the conditions here are getting worse quite quickly. This track's gone. It's gone. Definitely. Yeah, we've hit the wall. This track's gone. Well, this is unbelievable. This track has gone. It's wet. It's wet. And, well, this is an interesting predicament, isn't it? Is it going to dry, or is that it for this qualifying session? Let's have a look what the standings are. 2 Caterhams in the top 10. Look at who's going to go out. Sebastian Vettel, has he set a lap time? He hasn't. And I think it's going to be too late. It's just too slippy out there. It's progressed so quickly. It definitely has, as far as I'm concerned. And as soon as we started our second lap, we couldn't carry the cornering speed. And I'm not pushing here, and we're nearly spinning out. So I think we come into the pits and just see if it improves. This is quite the most incredible qualifying session I've ever seen. The repairs are complete from our front wing, and we are down 17th. And somehow Vettel went 4th. Well, that's unbelievable, but it seems it's more of a normal session now with some of these guys. Perhaps it's got drier. Perhaps that's why they're setting better lap times. So we need to get out pretty pronto and get through to Q3. There's a good chance here. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Look, even the AI can't control the car. It's completely rained out. And if there was no chance of rain for this session, it just makes me question the facts. Is there a chance for tomorrow? I wonder. We could have our first wet race. Sorry, we did have one in Spain, didn't we? Of course. But the problem is we start 17th, which is above and beyond what we were expected to do. But our teammates out-qualified us. And equally, we have 6 very... I'm going to be careful I don't get a penalty here for some stupid reason. But we have 6 very hungry, very quick, maybe not De La Rosa, but we have 6 very good drivers behind us, and that is a very scary position to be in as we go into the European Grand Prix. But that's it for qualifying. It's tipping it down. We just weren't quick enough, and perhaps, I mean, Verne got the 10th quickest time, and I think if we hadn't have let John-Eric Verne pass, we would have been into Q3, but that's just strategic error on my part. Hopefully we can have a good start to the race, and hopefully we can get up to the top 10. So, here's the grid. We didn't take part in Q3, so we'll have to look at who's in the top 10 on the race director. Maldonado made it to the top 10, that's all I know. But look who starts behind us. We start in front of 2 McLarens. It's like a reverse grid race, and we start behind a HRT and a Russia. We're not going to look at who's in the top 10, then we're just going to have to guess who's there. But this is quite an incredible outset we could have here. Quite a few collisions at the start from some hungry drivers that are fighting for the championship behind us. But we're away here in, look at this, Button and Hamilton just going for it straight away. We are away here in Valencia. We could have quite a nasty crash. Grosjean's just clicked into the side of us. Oh, this could be a bit tight. Hamilton and Button collide, but nothing serious there. Not the best start from us, was it? We've lost a few positions, but up the inside of Hamilton we go. This could be quite tight. Hamilton's still there. Look at Kovalainen now slowly. These 6 drivers are going. We're past Car for K, and this is crazy. This is the problem. We've got the fastest on the grid, Button and Hamilton in that McLaren. I mean, it's suggested that they're the quickest by the fact they are top of the constructors by quite a way. We have put Button wide there. So, what? Penalty? Well, I think for the first time, folks, going to use a flashback here. Did Button go in the wall or something here? Well, I'm not... Well... For the first time, I'm going to use a flashback because I just think that's ridiculous. Apologies if you don't approve. I wouldn't usually. I don't usually use flashbacks, but that's just ridiculous to get a penalty for that. Oh, Petrov's in the wall. We clipped our front wing there. That's not the best. But let's not dwell on that because that, of course, never happens. So let's just dwell on that. And we've used the flashback there and hopefully it doesn't ruin the rest of the race. But let's just get on with it now. We've gained 2 positions at the start. Button just behind Charles Pic. He should be able to dispense of Charles Pic very quickly, but luckily because we've got these slow drivers, which we're going to try and get up the inside of Button again now because he's been severely slowed down there by Timo Glock. Oh, 2 British drivers, and that's never the best, is it, to nearly spin there. But we've got really a reverse grid race here. We've got a lot of the slower drivers holding up the quicker drivers, and that can only work to our benefit. Look at the run we've got here on Jenson Button. I didn't think we'd be fighting Button at any point during the season. If we can make it a double overtime, that makes it even better. But up the inside of Timo Glock we go. Surprisingly, has started on the prime tyre. But unbelievably, Jenson Button has still not got past Timo Glock. And we're looking behind us too much because we're being a bit too scrappy here. But that is a bonkers first lap. And look who's next. Heikki Kovalainen. There's definitely some points that we can win here. Oh, Maldonado's off. Maldonado must have spun. There was a yellow flag, so Maldonado must have spun. He was in 6th place, I think, and we're just going to dispense of our teammate quite easily now without any issue, and that's another place game, but it's a shame that it has to be our teammate that we gain it from, because he had quite a good start, and that's a bit unfortunate for us. Just an update then, folks, at the end of the second lap of the race. Seems the top 6 have stayed where they were at the start. Maldonado qualified, he must have qualified P7 then. Yeah, must have qualified P7. So apart from Maldonado moving down, the top 9 have stayed as they were, which is interesting. Toro Rosso making gains at the start as well. They've only scored 1 point this season, so that could help them massively. But look at that. Sauber, Force India Load, stalling the points, and we need to join that gang. But how Alonso's top and Massa is 7th or 8th is beyond me. Well, I have to be fair to Heikki Kovalainen. It's been nearly a lap again. since I've last updated you. I have to be fair to Kovalainen, he's holding his own here. He really is, he's holding his own. We're not too slow because of the fact that... Oh, that was a bit scrappy there. The fact that Maldonado's still behind us, so we can't be that slow, and the fact that Button's not caught up massively. But Kovalainen's holding his own. It might be a bit of a scrappy lap, because to be fair, it wasn't as good as our previous lap, which suggests it was a little bit scrappy. But all in all, Kovalainen's doing quite well here, which isn't to our advantage. I don't know why I'm sounding so happy about that. I'm not. Oh, here comes Maldonado on the DRS straight. He's got DRS, of course, and he's gone. We're going to try and outbrake our teammate here, but we don't want to fight him too much. But we've got the line, we've got the position, and that was fairly well defended. No problem with that. The problem with Maldonado is that he's going to have to now face the wrath of Jensen Button. But in all that, being pushed along by the people behind us, I think we've gained a little bit on Heikki in front of us. But once again, he's doing really well here. And it might be the case that Kovalainen's gaining on those in front, we just don't know, but fair play to him. Well, we've really pushed and we've got into rich mix, which we're going to take down now to standard mix, just conscious about fuel, and we want to use really a lot of that up in the later stages in the race, I think, here. But we have gained quite a bit on Kovalainen. It seems we've left Maldonado and Button, which is bizarre. We've gained on Kovalainen, that wasn't the best corner there, but as long as we have a good run through these tight and twisty fast corners, we should be okay to try and get Kovalainen going into the next lap. But it seems we're going on the two Toro Rossos ahead as well. So it's all looking good coming to this first pit stop, which of course takes place at the end of lap 6. Going into neutral there, it's not the best thing to do. But a good aggressive turn there, and we're quite close to Heikki now. We should improve again this lap to a 142.9. And is there room to sneak it up the inside going into here? We're not going to do that because we've made too many daring moves so far this career mode, although we could have done because we just whacked the back of him. But we are getting very close now, and it might be time to make a move up the inside. I think now might be that time. We've got the run on Kovalainen. The last time we did this we got a penalty, but of course that never happened. So up the inside of Kovalainen we go. I think he moves out of the way, and there we go. We've dispatched of Heikki Kovalainen, and now it's our time to go and chase down the Toro Rossos. But in all truth, we're not really going to be able to do that before the pit stop, so we may as well just try and go as quick as we can. We've got the DRS, which is always nice. Try and catch up as much as possible, try and make as much time as possible, and hopefully our pit stop is a good one. I'm really surprised at how quickly we've closed on these Toro Rossos, you know. We've only been at it for a while, we've only been at it for about half a lap. We've really closed on these two Toro Rossos, which we seem to be quicker than, which is really encouraging. But bear in mind, one of these are hopefully going to come into the pits now. So we should be racing one of them when it's going to be Daniel Ricciardo coming out of the pits. This is going to be an interesting environment. But what speed is it? Yep, that's all sorted. Down to 37 into lean mix, and hopefully something happens that allows us to get out ahead of Ricciardo, although I can't really see it. Let's see. In we come, prime tyres on. Has Ricciardo gone past? Yes, he has. We were held for a little bit there, unfortunately. But we've come out. How far are we behind not Kovalainen, sorry, behind Ricciardo? It's a little bit, to be fair. It's been increased by about a second. There's the Sauber, though. We're not that far behind the Sauber, which is an interesting development we've got here. And that Sauber seems to have lost a lot of time in the pit stops. They were 6th or 7th when the pit stops happened. And as you can see, this is an interesting development. Both Saubers must have pitted, and that they've lost massive. I just want to check they haven't had a collision or anything like that. Perez hasn't been in, so Perez had an incident of some kind. Perez started, oh yeah, Perez started 22nd, so he wasn't in there at all. But Kobayashi, who started 5th, and I think was quite a way up there, comes out ahead of his teammate who hasn't stopped yet, and it seems that the run that Sauber have had of brilliant podiums and points, so especially for Perez, will be coming to an end, especially for him and for Kobayashi, based on the fact that he's come out in that position. It's either that or that we've benefited from the pit stops and we're going to be quite in touch with the Sabres at the end, which I won't complain about. Have we got DRS? No, we're not quite close enough. We need to make sure we don't lose these 3 cars ahead, because overtaking these cars could be crucial in getting somewhere in this race. There you go, a few good there we go, a few good corners and a good straight, and then we've lost all our time again because of a weak entry there. That's the story of our career, I think, so far. But we are getting close to Ricciardo. Bear in mind that Perez will probably come in this lap, so we are bound to gain some positions. We're going to dive it up the inside of Ricciardo, are we? No, we're not. We're going to definitely gain some positions here, which is encouraging. And we are right behind Ricciardo in order to mainly gain another one here. We've got the real slipstream on him now, up to P12, now up to P10. Oh, we took out Ricciardo, I think. Any penalty for that? Surprisingly not. Well, let's have a look if this was our fault. Is this penance for what happened earlier? What happened here then? So we went up the inside of Ricardo. To be fair, yeah, we touched him. Well, firstly, to point out, not to distract from the incident or anything, we've come out ahead of our teammates. Seems the undercuts worked. Well, I'm sorry about that, Ricardo. But is that our fault? I'm not sure. I'd argue more racing incident, but more to the point, we've gained positions on our teammate, which isn't the best in the stop. Oh no, he was behind us anyway, wasn't he, of course. So just scrap that. But we're up to P10 because we've just took the guy who was in 10th out. We'll gloss over that one. It might be my guilty conscience, but I don't think we took him out. I mean, it wasn't forceful, and to be fair, he didn't drive into us. It wasn't his fault either, but I think it was more a racing incident. I don't think it took him out of the race, so that's all well and good. I can't remember if I broke before that interruption or not. I'm not quite sure, but I'll carry on now. I had an interruption coming in for a cup of tea. Can't be bad, can it, having a nice cup of tea in the middle of a race? That's not unrealistic whatsoever. But it was more of a racing incident. He didn't turn into us. I don't think we turned into him. And nobody got a penalty. I don't think anybody got a penalty. This is just unnecessary distraction. No, nobody got a penalty. So let's just focus on the racing for once, shall we? And let's make sure we pick up a few points today. Well, last lap we took out one Toro Rosso, supposedly. Let's take out the other one now. Of course, I jest. Any FIA official or steward watching, that was a dreadful exit from there. Any FIA official should know that that was in jest. So we're just going to try and get past Vern as cleanly as possible. You'll remember in this race in real life that Maldonado tried this on Hamilton. Let's just say it didn't end well. Let's try and dart it up the inside. Give Vern a bit of room. Oh, sorry, Vern. Oh, get off it. I'm sorry, but the penalty system is ridiculous in this game. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to use another flashback there, because how can you have a penalty for that? I mean, fair enough, we tapped Vern. Was there anything we could do about it? Not really. We sort of sent him into a spin, but to be quite honest, we knocked him back, so that's fine. So we're going to have to replicate that move now. Again, I just think what's the point of having unjust penalties? I mean, we tapped the back of Vern. We'll probably get a penalty for this now. Oh, the rest has stopped. That's a bit of a change. Bit of luck from the flashback there. We've definitely got past Vern cleanly, and now we can get past Di Resta. But I think it's fair not to take that move there, because, you know, we did use the flashback. We will take the move in the future. We can't go, oh no, we can't get past Di Resta at all now. I do think, though, that that penalty was extremely harsh, so I'm not going to take that. And I think that's fair enough for the good of the series and the race. If you don't think it is, then leave a comment down below. But I think it's okay, so I think we'll be okay in this instance. It's a comment worth making though here, isn't it? That we've actually got some good pace. You know, we seem to take everyone out when we get past them, but glossing over that fact, we have actually got pace. We can catch up to cars. It's going to be the first time since Monaco that we get a good points position. We finished, I think we finished 9th in Spain and 10th in Monaco, so this is going to be our best performance if we can finish 8th anyway, since the 4th place we got in Malaysia, and that would be brilliant. And Maldonado's in 11th place. It'd be great if he could get some points as well to help the team out, but it's the first time that Force India have got any serious points this year, so good on them. Right, this is take 2 of the Vern move. Hopefully we don't take Di Resta out, because I think we've only got 4 flashbacks that are available to us here, but we're not close enough. I don't quite think, even I won't dive up the inside there. I think that's a little bit brash, but get a good run out of some of these corners, and I think there's a chance of going for the move up to the hairpin that is the next big corner. So not the best run out of there, but the slipstream effect is quite big here. And let's see, are we going to be close enough to pull Di Resta? A little bit of curves to help us out, but to be fair, no, we're not. So it's going to take a little bit more than just some good exits to corners. Seems our pace is good. That's refreshing to see. I think DRS probably helped out there. A little bit of a corner cut, but I think they can let it slide. A little bit wide there as well. We come up to the last corner. Again, it's a silly one to try and overtake Di Resta in, but I feel like if we get this corner right, which we have done there, we can gain on the Force India driver, our fellow Brit in the grid. We wouldn't want to take 2 Brits out at the same time. That was going to be our personal best lap, but it narrowly wasn't, which is a little bit disappointing. But we're right on the back of Di Resta now. Not going to make the move into there, because that's just daft. Bear in mind our fuel as well. We need to put that back to standard mix as soon as we can get past Di Resta, if we can. Get past him, that is. Not the best there. bear in mind, we are sort of running out of time as well here. We've got, I mean, you could say, well, you got 4 laps left, but it's not a long time. There we go, we're really close to the rest now. We'll probably muck it up through this section, but if we can get the corners right, we can make a move to the final corner, just out of the fact that we have to, because we're too close, but we can't get too cocky yet. Coming up to this last corner, we are very close to the rest. Not going to quite go up the inside. We've got Vern going up the inside there, blimey. That's distracted us, oh for goodness sake, we've nearly took out both Toro Rossos now by turning in on Vern, but that's the most aggressive move I've seen from an AI driver in F1 2012, and I love it. I don't particularly love the fact that that's distracted us from going over to Resta, but I digress. Right. Can we get past him? Would love an 8th place, be our best result since Malaysia. And it sets us up well going into our home Grand Prix, doesn't it? It's also the Resta's home Grand Prix. So I bet he wants to get his best points of the season, but unfortunately F1's a competitive sport. We can't all finish in 8th place. Well, look at this. We're a hell of a lot closer to the rest than we were last time. I don't even think we need the rich fuel mix. It should be a nice and easily move now, unless we really muck it up. Got the DRS. He goes defensive. I was going to say moves out of the way, but he doesn't. He goes defensive. And that... Oh! Kimi's off. Is that Kimi? Or is that... it is. Kimi Raikkonen's off and Kimi Raikkonen's out. I'll tell you what, for him, that's so unfortunate. He's obviously had a problem there. But for Kimi, it's really unfortunate. He got disqualified from both the Monaco and Canada race for spinning and holding up the field, which classed as disqualification, and he's broke down there. He's only scored 2 points this season, but we'll take the extra position. And I think now, just drive it home. We've got 2 laps left. I very much doubt we can catch up to Kobayashi. So keep the fuel in check. Maldonado's in the points as well. It's happy days. We've outraced him. Hopefully get a faster lap. Make sure the fuel's all in check. And we should, in 2 laps time, be very happy at the fact we're just about to come across the line and win 7 points for the team. Well, we can get one overtake before the end of the race. Timo Glock's got a blue flag. He's the back of the field. I think he probably started above us, which is even more ironic. He definitely did, actually, because the only one of the bottom 6 teams, the bottom 6 out of the bottom 3 teams even, in Pedro De La Rosa started at the back. So for the fact he started above us and he's going to be lapped is quite funny. But I've just realised something, that Button, Hamilton, those drivers that were in the bottom 6 never overtook us during this race. I haven't looked at the race director so see who's top. We're going to have to defend from Di Resta quite rigidly here, which we have. And they've never overtook us, so it might be a pointless day for the likes of McLaren. So this can be a very interesting result, and we'll have to see what happens. But I think that I'm hoping that... I just want to check that Maldonado's got through. Oh God, look at Timo Glock. He's really holding up Maldonado now. But let's just focus on our own race. I know the team comes first, but we're also very important. Shame that we couldn't catch up to Kobayashi and the guy in 5th. That's a shame. But Sebastian Vettel wins the Valencia Grand Prix. What he should have done in real life before breaking down in real life and going on in a flap about it, if you remember. Whacking his steering wheel at the wall. That was quite a classic back in the day. But, as I said 2 laps ago, I was hoping we could come across the line without any issue. And that, I think, is what we're going to do. Come out the last corner. Accelerate out. No problems with that. Just try and get the least fuel possible across the line. And that, ladies and gents, is our best result since the Malaysian Grand Prix. And we've done it in style as well, I think, there. Pretty much considering we gained 10 places in that race. And that is a job well done. And something that we need to do a lot more of throughout the season. We can't just be languishing down in 10th in a lot of these races. So let's have a look what happened then. So, no points for Button, no points for Schumacher, no points for Hamilton, no points for Grosjean even, no points for Perez. And of course, well, blimey, Rosberg was a long way back. And no points for Kimi, who retired. But the winner was Vettel. Webber just behind. So it was a Ferrari 3-4. Very good for Force India in 5th. Kobayashi in 6th and ourselves in 7th. Unfortunately, Maldonado wins the qualifying and the fastest lap game for this weekend. But we'll be top of the points game now. We are in 12th in the championship. That incredible turn of tide of 25 points puts Vettel ahead in the championship. You wouldn't have said that with a 24-point gap at the start of the weekend, would you? But Maldonado is still in 13th place. He's level with Hulkenberg on the points front. Let's have a look now how that changed the championship. So, Ferrari pull away from Sauber, in the fact that Sauber only scored 10 points today. But because Lotus and Mercedes didn't score today, we gain on them by 7 points. That's a big achievement. Force India are a lot closer to us than they were. But once again, we are still ahead of that team. And the championship fight has changed once again from Hamilton in 3rd. He's down to 4th because of his poor race and Alonso finishing well. And Vettel is the top of the championship. That's the bigger story, I think, here, in that Vettel was 26, he must have been, 24 points behind Jenson Button before the start of the weekend. And after it, he's got 25 points. Button's got none. And amazingly, all because of that crazy qualifying session. I'm going to take a cup of tea and a sip of my tea out of my Williams mug, ironically. Because of that qualifying session, it seems that Button has had a disaster. But we've beat Maldonado there. Apparently, he's a star, according to Horner on Vettel. That's all lovely. Some good XP for us there. And now we move on to the Silverstone Grand Prix, the British Grand Prix, which of course can throw up any sort of weather at any point. So I wouldn't trust anything that says in terms of the weather. But we are just about losing the championship battle now with our teammate. We've reduced the deficit to 2-1 in the teammate battle. It was 3-1 beforehand with, of course, Maldonado out racing us. But now we've got more championship points. He has out-qualified us, which is something hopefully in the second half of the season we can try and reverse. And of course, hopefully we can get a podium at some point, and that would be fantastic. But that is where we are going to leave it for today's episode and race, folks. If you have enjoyed it, it was quite a hectic one. Quite a few controversial decisions in that, but I think, to be honest, they were all fair for the race. In that, if we'd have got a penalty, it would have ruined it from stage one. And to be honest, I don't really think they were penalisable incidents. Maybe the Vern one was, but we put him back on the straight and narrow. And arguably, the most penalisable incident was the Ricciardo one, and we didn't get a penalty for that. So we'll use that as a little bit of a trademark, a benchmark there, but 7 points for the team, 6 points for our own race and our own good, which is brilliant. And it seems we're on the road to beat Maldonado, and where better to try and extend that lead in our home race, the British Grand Prix. So like and subscribe, folks, for more F1 content twice a week. Comment if you enjoyed as well, and make sure to hit the notifications button to get a notification for the Silverstone Grand Prix, which will be out on Wednesday at 6 PM British time. But if you're watching this a few weeks in the past, a few weeks in the future, what am I on about? A few weeks in the past, we can't time travel. If you're watching this a few weeks in the future, the playlist should be on the screen fairly soon for you to go straight to watch the British Grand Prix. But if not, you'll have to wait till Wednesday. But hopefully that shouldn't be a long wait. There's plenty of content on the channel to watch, including snooker, cricket and Football Manager that you can watch, and also the retro stuff. And I'm sure something will tickle your fancy in there before next Wednesday's video. But nonetheless, thank you very much for watching, folks. I appreciate you getting to this point. I appreciate it massively, in fact. But I've been Toby from TIJ Gaming, and today that has been episode 8 of the F1 2012 Career Mode with Williams. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.